networking, referrals, strategies for success, and real-life stories from professionals who are building a business based on relationship marketing. Welcome to the Caerusnet Podcast. Here, you'll learn how to stay connected in the local business community and become that person others get to know, like, and trust, and refer to. And now, your host, Caerusnet founder, Steve Zyskowski.
Well, I wanna tell you all the places we can go. So on this episode of the Caerusnet Podcast, I have a new member with me. And if you've watched any of the Caerusnet podcasts over a period of time, you'll find that the majority of people I'm interviewing have been with us for at least a year, some for 10 years or so. And this time we've got a brand new member. That's Trisha Mitchner. She is a business coach, Stride Coaching in consulting. She's a new member of my Ann Arbor 1 o'clock team. And what I wanted to do today is, since she's a new member, this is a whole new perspective that people are going to be able to enjoy on the Caerusnet podcast. Because again, normally we're talking to people that have been around for a while. They've got some battle stories, some success stories, something that's uniquely theirs. And Trisha is just starting out in Caerusnet. So this is going to be part one of a two-part podcast. Part two is going to be a follow-up once we've hit month 13 for Trisha to figure out, okay, so where did we go from this episode to what you've learned? So welcome to the podcast, Trisha.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Steve. Thanks for having me.
Well, I've been looking forward to it. So, Caerusnet teams are really cool. They have different posses of businesses that are on them. You get your trades posses, right? Your heating and cooling companies and home remodelers. You get your health and wellness posses, right? The people that are helping us in those parts, the financial and insurance people. And then there's also what I call the professional services posse. Professional services generally are businesses that are helping other businesses, which is what you do. You're in that posse. So what I wanted to do today is just kind of get a feel for, how did you even find out about Caerusnet? How did this come to be? And then what we're going to do is talk a little bit about your journey to making the decision to join a team, and maybe the things that were going on inside. Because I think people have been around long enough, I think sometimes they forget what that initial journey is like. So floor is yours. How do you learn about Caerusnet?
Oh, cool. Well, thank you. I appreciate you having me. I appreciate you being on board now. So it's been fun the last couple, I guess, months now that I've tried a couple out before I've landed in the Ann Arbor group. So when I first was looking for ways to interact, it was because I had moved. I had moved from Chelsea to Weberville, and I really didn't know the area very well. I had been there about a year and a half, 2 years, but I had a year of a lot of family crisis, so I wasn't able to get myself out and put the time towards meeting new people and interacting and that kind of thing. So once I, was healed and moved on from that and got some space, it was like, okay, well, I need to find things to do that I'm interacting, because I do best when I'm interacting with people. When I lived in New Jersey, I owned gyms at the time. I was a part of a BNI group, and I really didn't love the rigidness of that type of structure. And so I joined the Brighton, the words lost me, the Brighton Chamber, the Brighton Chamber, lovely people, lovely place. But for me, it was a lot of events going on, a lot of things. And I was just a little too far to make that really work a ton. I still am a part of it. I still go to things every once in a while. But I really needed a more intimate experience. And so Mary Beth, a member of Caerusnet, invited me, who was also in the chamber, invited me in to check this out as well. And so in combination with that, I think it's a great place to start, is to really get to know people one-on-one and get to know other businesses one-on-one, and be able to serve a myriad of different types of organizations and industries.
Well, Mary Beth I don't know if she's a lifelong resident of Brighton, but she's like a lifer there. She's been there a long, long time. She's known very well and well liked, because she's an honest person that just does good.
Yep.
And she's She's been a phenomenal member. Did you meet her at the chamber? Was she the person that she told you about CirrusNet? What did she say that made it so you go, okay, well, I'm getting out there, I'm checking things out. I think I can make room to check out another thing. What did she say that made it so you would agree to see a team?
Um, I think it was just we were talking about different networking opportunities within the Brighton Chamber and other ones in the area. And she brought up you because she's also a part of that. And so I don't think it was anything other than, okay, I wrote it down to look it up. And when I looked it up, it was more so, oh, this is more my style. I'm pretty much an introvert. I mean, I can turn on my extroversion at any point. So like I'm very well, I can do that. It's a skill, right? But I prefer one-on-one experience and smaller groups, and then to be at big events where there's lots of people. I don't enjoy those as much. So when I found CirrusNet, it was like, okay, this is more my style. I can get on board.
That is awesome. I've got a shameless plug I've got to say right now, Trisha. The
Please.
Cirrus Net Breakfast is on July 22 this year.
Nice.
This is a big event with
Mm.
lots of people, like the one you just talked about that you don't really enjoy going to. I promise you, if you go to this is going to be the first big event you go to loaded with lots of people because
I will
everyone
be
can,
there. I do love it. Every once in a while, you need that. And I
yeah.
love that this group does that like once or twice a year.
It's right. Yeah. It's funny because, sometimes when you go to a big event, we don't always know like who's there and for what reasons.
Sure.
So sometimes you talk to some people that are just maybe standoffish because they're just there out of duty for somebody else, or they're not there to network. So it can be a little awkward. But at the Cirrus Net Breakfast, people are going to be like, I don't know you. Come talk to me.
Right.
Come talk to
Right.
me. Who are you? Um,
Exactly.
okay, so another thing that I would just want to take with that observation too is that it sounded to me like you saw um, by doing so many events and going to lots of places, sometimes people think that they're getting traction or think that they're doing productive networking. But what happens is most of the time people will trade business cards, when they meet and they go to something, but unless the intention to follow up and unless it
Correct.
was a really juicy conversation,
Really
you
good.
feel like you
Yeah.
just met your business soulmate, or if
Yeah.
it's something like that, those cards will get stuck in a rubber band, put in the desk drawer, and then cleaned out at the end of the
Collected
year.
dust. Yes, exactly.
So you recognized, I think, in the CirrusNet environment, the ability to then be intentional and to build relationships with people one on
Yeah.
one. Was that one of the things that drew you to it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's what I do for a living. I need to be able to train people to build relationships in executive coaching and business consulting. I need to be able to do that. So, um, for me, I'm also remote most of the time. I've been remote since before COVID. And so I like to be in person every once in a while, but I like the flexibility of the remote. And to
Yes.
me, you can still build relationships remotely. And I like that you guys do that in a really strong way. I feel like that you do that. But I also have the option to meet in person, which I have a couple of trust builders with people in person coming up this next couple of weeks. So you have the option to meet one-on-one at a coffee shop that's local to you, but also hop online, and it saves a lot of travel time and all the things that go along with that, for sure.
Okay, awesome. Hey, let's do this right now too before we continue to ask a couple more questions about CirrusNet. Today you are at a client location. We can't name the client, I don't think, but it's probably one people have heard of if they live in Michigan.
Yeah.
And you're there on a consulting, I would take it on a consulting. So what are you doing for this big client that we can't mention who it is, but what are you doing for them?
Well, it's an automotive company,
Yeah.
and so I am helping with some of their new employee induction for a new plant that's going in the LBN Marshall area. So I'm contracted. I'm technically subcontracted, but we are onboarding basically without the plant being open. We're doing the onboarding process and the leadership development and the really not just leadership development, although that's where I gravitate my expertise. But we're onboarding them in a number of different areas in terms of safety and what they're going to be doing, what the day-to-day is going to be like, a lot of that stuff. But there's a good amount of getting people prepared to step into a new role, a brand new role, and what that looks like. How are they communicating? How are they doing well? So that's kind of what I'm doing here on site. It's not often that I'm on site, but every once in a while that is the case.
Yeah, and then kind of dovetailing then into the coaching part of your practice, where is your sweet spot right now in terms of coaching? You mentioned you used to own a gym, so you got
Yeah.
it's a lot of
Yes,
entrepreneurial experience that came from that.
sure.
But in your coaching practice and being in CirrusNet, who are the types of businesses that you envision are going to be good fits for you to help in CirrusNet through referral?
So yeah, I mean, it's important to understand the difference between coaching and advising or coaching and consulting. When I'm doing business coaching and consulting, I am advising on certain things. I'm telling the client exactly what needs to be done at this point, at this stage. People are coming to me, usually small to medium-sized businesses, usually less than between really 2 and 20 employees. They're coming to me. It's usually the CEO, the owner, or the founder, one of the two, and they are looking for support in creating more structure, getting them out of the doing of the business and removing themselves and making sure that they get the right people in the right places. They're realizing that, a lot of their wealth is tied up in the business, and if they want to grow, they need to be able to um, look elsewhere and do other things and put their time and their expertise towards different areas while the team is supporting the business and keeping the business running. So the other is the executive coaching piece. So I'm hired oftentimes for executive coaching specifically with people that are in director roles or managing people and are having people problems and aren't able to find the right people to hire and those types of things. So those are the types of people that are coming.
Okay, wonderful. And then in terms of like good referral partners for yourself, you've sent me a few emails since you joined. Hey,
Yeah,
Steve, I've got a client that might need this sort of thing. Do you have somebody in the network that I might be able to check with to see if it's something they can
sure.
help with? What types of businesses are good businesses for us to refer to you that can be synergistic? Like you would see the same kind of client.
I guess if you could ask it in a different way.
Sure. So, I have some business coaches that I have want to work with marketing people, marketing agencies, helping them because a lot of times they're seeing the same type of client in terms
Problems.
of the d decision maker, that sort of thing.
Got it.
Are there other types of businesses that you collaborate with on your coaching and consultings that
I mean,
could?
typically I'm working with
Okay.
service-based industries, not as much product and manufacturing, although I've done that in the past. But typically it's service-based. I've worked with every single industry, honestly, that you could quite possibly imagine. Salons and brush manufacturers and all sorts of things in an array,
Wow.
automotive industry. I mean, so the industry isn't, I'm not agnostic to one industry. So really it's the small to medium sized business that are in this family unit that need help to grow, and they're kind of capping themselves at the moment and need to be able. So but in terms of like resources, like when you originally asked the question, I thought of different, because I am also collecting a list of people that I could refer my clients to, like financial planners, for instance, is one where I would like to. I have quite a few who they don't have themselves set up for success, or they would like to be able to set their staff up for success, but they don't have necessarily someone that they trust. And that's the big thing, is like I have a trusted list of people that I can refer them to so that they can go and find those people and integrate them into their business.
Yeah, that's a big help because the client sees that you've already kind of mapped out additional needs that they might have, and you've actually got
Yep.
somebody that they can connect with
Yep.
right away. And
Yep.
that helps you pass referrals. It helps the client get the job done and move on to the next thing. So it's great to have that. I think the people that are prepared with those sorts of next stops along the way do really well than people that are just winging it.
Yeah, I would say insurance too, like key man insurance and things like that, that typically I'm looking in a business consulting,
Hmm.
mind frame, I'm looking for holes. Where are there risks in the business? Where is there risk to the family of the business owner? If they were to die tomorrow, what's going to happen to this business and what's going to happen to their families? And people wait until something horrible has happened oftentimes to be able to say, oh crap, we really need to get that in place. And so insurance agencies, things like that, where like, that's not me, I don't do that. So if I can recommend that they get something like that and it's with someone that I trust, typically they're they're ready to call that person and get hooked up with something that's going to support them.
So the final thought that I have is just regarding businesses, ones that try to white knuckle it in DIY all the time. And I get a lot of businesses when they start out, they haven't rang the cash register that much yet. They're still wanting to, is my business even really a business yet? And then finally it gets to a place where it is a business and they're busy and busy and maybe they're starting to stretch their capacity a little bit. I find that, either that's going to be a repeating trend in a business where they just keep uh, reacting as they go, versus planning how it's going to go and working with somebody to kind of shorten the learning curves and to help them see the blind spots that they can't see because they're just too close to things. So, if you're a business listening to this, I personally have witnessed the difference between businesses that have a coach
Mm.
or coaches because for myself I think I have like three different coaches that I work with on different things. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's because of having other people kind of impartially talk to me about what I'm doing. There's no hiding from that, and I think that that's the other thing that a business owner can do is a lot of times people go into a business because they don't want to have to answer to anybody. They don't want a boss anymore. But like, wake up. Every client you have is your boss. Every
Correct.
client I have is my boss. We all have bosses. That's not why you get into business. You get into business to explore your potential, in my opinion.
Correct. Yes, yes. If growth oriented, right? Like I don't work with anyone who's not. They know that they have holes and blind spots, and so they're looking and seeking for someone to call those things out. So accountability is a huge part of why people pay me, right? It's like
That's
if
right.
I told you I'm going to do it, then I'm going to follow up and I'm going to do it. And if you don't, then we come up with what do we need to do with this, right? But that's where it gets fun because you have a third party come in and they don't know your business day to day. They don't see the things day to day. So they're looking at it with a fresh set of eyes. And oftentimes they have a team supporting them in the background. So there's a lot of resources that you wouldn't necessarily have that you can access through this coach. And they've got experience in seeing things that you just haven't seen in terms of commonalities, themes across the board based on the different stages that you're in of business. It depends on what stage you're in. Um, but yeah, it's having a coach. I mean, I was in the fitness world for a long time. I don't coach fitness anymore. But that's why I continued coaching is because I enjoyed the coaching aspect and I've always had a coach myself. I always will, I really think. I mean, I go through phases where I don't, but I always jump back in with another because I love my brain to be challenged in different ways. And I want help being able to see the blind spots that I'm not seeing in the day to day.
Yeah, I think that it's important anytime you've got a coaching relationship to have some goals that are going to be achieved. And if you're achieving your goals with your coach, it makes a lot of sense to keep going because you can make those goals even more exciting.
Yeah. You
But
should be getting results with your coach. That's one
I
thing.
think that's really important, and people
Yeah.
need to be honest too. Uh, you know, where did my lack of results come from? Was it because I
Yeah.
was given bad information, or was it because I didn't do the things that I got in my own
I
way?
mean, it surprises me a lot because you're right. You're totally right. When we're doing strategic planning for the year, like annual planning, for instance, which we just did in January and we do on a quarterly basis I do with my clients. And it's really amazing how often I will have people set goals based on hope. Well, I hope if this happens, I hope that I'm going to be able to X, Y, Z. And we can't have goals based on hope. Like
Mm-mm.
we need to learn how to articulate ourselves so that we actually have a true north vision and we're communicating that properly down chain, so that the rest of our team is on board and everybody's on the same page. And then everybody's rowing in the same direction, right? It's a lot different of a feel and the energy in the business is a lot different when you have that kind of mentality.
It sure does. Absolutely. Okay, so last question, and then we're going to finish. That is this. We're going to give the Ann Arbor 1 o'clock team some love. You visited the Tuesday 8 o'clock Brighton groups as a guest of Mary Beth's to get a sense of what Caerusnet was. It got your wheels turning, I think, just a little bit. And then maybe you attended one of the little happy hours last year too that Amy Knight might have put on at Keller
Yep.
Williams.
Yep.
So what was it about the Ann Arbor 1 o'clock team that made you feel like that was a place that you could put your sign in the ground, put your stake in the ground?
Oh, that's a good question. I really liked all the groups. I don't think that there was one that really stood out more than the other. I just feel I'm from Chelsea originally, and so I feel more at home in that Ann Arbor area. And I go back relatively often, so I thought, well, I might be able to see more in-person people there than necessarily in Brighton because I don't know a lot of people, and I have more connections in Ann Arbor and Chelsea area, Dexter. But I also I got a good vibe from the group, and I really I had a couple of trust builder meetings that were scheduled right off the bat and really enjoyed those. So I'm excited to continue. I think that the what I was looking for is the energy towards, I mean, it is a referral group. And so I'm looking towards putting that same amount of energy in for other people. And I would hope that that's kind of the theme throughout. I think it's the theme throughout all SiriusNet, but it is another thing. And so are you putting attention to it? And I want to make sure that I'm putting attention to it. I felt that other people in the group were putting attention to that type of, I mean, that's why we're there. We're there to support clients in any way possible and to serve. And I wanted it to be a service thing, not a I'm here to get something. And so
Yeah.
that's the vibe that I got, was that it was more towards the first.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm so glad you picked up on that because, we do try to have a different feeling culture
Yeah.
at CirrusNet where we are interested in the relationship and also don't force the relationship too, because uh, never a great thing to do. It's always nice to let things kind of naturally,
Unfold.
organically come together. So, okay, so Trisha Mitchner, so glad to have you on the podcast. I'm excited. I'll be reaching out to you as we get towards the end of this year to schedule your follow-up, and hopefully we'll have some referral stories to share, maybe a highlight of the year, and maybe something you weren't expecting, maybe something that is a surprise for us to talk about on the next podcast.
Absolutely. I'm excited for that.
All right. Thanks so much for being on the
Thank
podcast.
you. Thanks, Steve.
All the places we